Hello everyone, this is part 3 of What If Naruto Loses Control, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Konoha, with its trees spread throughout, the village lives up to its name and helps lend the ninja living here the unfortunate nickname, Tree Huggers. Just like the rooftop of the academy that the newly formed Team 7 now occupied, there were trees at their backs growing out of the roof and their silver-haired sensei was in front of them leaning on the railing by the edge of the roof. Kakashi takes in the view of his new team. All of them had scratches, dirt and small bruises forming on different parts of their bodies. Looks like they got into a fight earlier. If it was with each other, then this is already starting to look hopeless. Well now, let's start getting to know each other. Kakashi's face doesn't convey any other emotion, just that glazed lazy eye, the only window into the quiet masked man. Introduce yourselves. It's always strange to see someone raise their hand to speak, and a little bit of annoyed amusement can be seen in Naruto's eyes watching Sakura sit there with her hand up. But, what do you mean, sensei? Why don't you tell us about you first so we can understand? Pointing at himself, Kakashi's eyebrow raises. Me, I'm Hatake Kakashi. Let's see things I like and things I hate. I don't feel like telling you that. My dreams for the future, it hasn't really been on my mind, and as for hobbies, I have lots of hobbies but it would be irresponsible of me to describe them out loud. Sakura, looking to Sasuke, whispers, that info was useless, all he really told us was his name. Alright, you there on the left, the blonde one. Why don't you star? Naruto interrupts before Kakashi can finish. Pass. Raising an eyebrow at the blatant disrespect, you pass, huh? Why's that? One of Kakashi's arms unfold and points a finger at the pink and raven-haired members of Team 7. If you are all going to be on a team, then it's important that your teammates get to know you, no. It's a stupid exercise. They know my name already since we have spent years together in this damn academy. Naruto leans back on the steps and holds himself up with his elbows, so there is no point to this. Let's hurry up with the training and get paid to kill people already. Sakura was the only one to show a response to Naruto's words, and the disbelief on her face at the idea of being paid to kill gave Kakashi the impression she was very naive about the reality of the profession she has chosen. Sasuke's eyes glinted slightly at Naruto's mention of killing, and that too was a bad sign. Okay, moving right along, you in the middle, go ahead. Right, my name is Sakura Haruno, what I like is, I mean the person I like is, giggle, my hobbies are. Looking out the corner of her eye at Sasuke, she barely contains her excitement. My dream for the future is losing all control, she squeals in delight at her inner fantasies. And, what do you hate? Grabbing the bottom of her dress as her face pulls in anger as she looks back to Kakashi before her eyes turn to the only blonde present, what do you think? Naruto chuckles at this as Kakashi has a few thoughts on the spiteful and distracted mind of teenage girls. Oh. Okay. Then, now you, the quiet one. It's your turn. Sakura turns with excitement to hear what Sasuke has to say, while both Naruto and Kakashi looked like they were barely interested or listening. Sasuke does not move, just sits there with his elbows on his knees and hands in front of his face as he speaks. My name is Sasuke Uchiha, I hate a lot of things, two of which are right here, and I don't really care about anything else. Sakura's happy expression disappears and is replaced by worry, and what I have is not a dream but an ambition I will make reality. I will restore my clan, and kill a certain someone. Everyone's expression is different after taking in Sasuke's words, and all are lost in their own thoughts. But Naruto's are darker. Restore your clan, huh? Memories of bright red Sharingan piercing his eyes, compelling him to forget his will cross his mind. I want let another Uchiha clan rise again. Whatever kami is in charge of human fate has given me the chance to stop this would-be upstart right in his place. Naruto is still lost in his thoughts and barely hears Kakashi talking to the team. It had to be the greatest human news I've ever heard of when the entire Uchiha clan was killed by one of their own. I think his name was Itachi. So that is the one this little Sharingan-less kid must want to kill, and if he killed all of them then he must have that mutated form of eye power called the. Naruto's thoughts are interrupted by the sound of Kakashi saying, Naruto, it really is your turn now. And I'm not taking no for an answer. These two may have had the privilege, of getting to know you in the past, but I haven't. So go ahead and let's hear what you've got to say. Glowering at the Jonin, Naruto also notices the attention of Sakura, and even Sasuke was looking at him out the corner of his eye. So they're curious about me, huh? I'll have to word this carefully. Not moving from his relaxed position, Naruto trains his crimson eyes on the three. Well, if you insist, dog. My name, as you all already know, is Naruto. The things I like are ninjutsu, hunting, making bastards pay for crossing me, and even that hot noodle soup called ramen. What I hate is people, and my dreams for the future is power and the path of conquest. I will become the most powerful ninja the world will ever know. Sakura's expression at Naruto's statements bring worried confusion to her face, and Sasuke thinks to himself, power, huh? So we have some things in common, but I will leave you all behind as I discover my Uchiha power. Kakashi pauses to let the words of all three sink in. Well, that's interesting. I have one who's only interested in one of them and two who seem to not care about anything but themselves. There is no way they're gonna pass tomorrow with these attitudes. And Naruto called me dog. Was that an insult, or does he know about me? Well, now that we understand each other better, I'll tell you about this team's first mission. These words got everyone's undivided attention, a survival exercise. Narrowing his eyes at the masked Jonin, Naruto asks, wait, what? It's not a real mission, why are you wasting my time like this? Yes, sensei. Sakura's disappointed face turns to Kakashi. We did all this in the academy already, so why do we need more training now? Kakashi laughs at Sakura's expression. Well, the academy was just to prepare you all for this day, the day we see who is going to be ninja by weeding out the hopeless and the insane. Kakashi's eye was going to each member on Team 7 and stopped on his last word at Naruto, which elicited a glare and growl from the blonde. Continuing on unfazed by the looks Kakashi was getting from the teens, and let me tell you all that the chances of all 27 academy graduates not making it to be real ninja is about 66%. But by the look of this group I'd say that it's more like 85% since all three of you have shown me several personality disorders already. This will be a make it or break it test to prove to me and the village that you're ready to be real ninja. All three teens' thoughts turn inward at this information, one thinking on the power of love, another on the need for revenge, and the last thinking a little darkly, throwing me another obstacle in my way, huh? If you think you can stop me, then I've got a few surprises for you. Alright, you will all report to training ground 7 at 6 a.m. and bring your ninja gear. Oh, and you all better skip breakfast, or else you'll puke. Bleary-eyed Sakura walks into the clearing seeing Naruto sitting on the top of one of three logs in training ground 7 and Sasuke walking up, but his eyes were alert and indifferent. They all deposit the backpacks on the ground. Sakura sits down on her pack while Sasuke stands looking anywhere but at his team. Naruto starts looking around and taking a sniff at the breeze, then listening with his advanced hearing for any sign of Kakashi. After hearing nothing but two rumbling stomachs, he jumps up into the nearby tree, taking advantage of his high altitude to survey the land, and still no Jonin. Naruto decides to lean back against the tree and take a nap. He's nowhere for a couple of miles, so if he's gonna be late then I'm just gonna take a nap. And for the next 5 hours they stayed that way, Sasuke keeping an eagle's eye out for the tardy Jonin, Sakura sitting on her backpack with her head steadily hanging down lower and lower, and Naruto sleeping in his tree. Finally Kakashi could be seen walking up to the group, and when he finally made it to the team he waves and says, "Good morning everyone, sorry I'm late but on my way here I stopped to help a young woman carry her groceries home, and it took longer to leave her apartment than I originally thought it would." Kakashi was thinking to himself that the looks on Sakura and Sasuke's faces were priceless. If the word scandalous in the dictionary had a picture of a facial expression next to it, then the example was looking at him. Alright, let's get started. Pulling a kunai out of his back holster, Kakashi looks up in the tree at the sleeping form of Naruto and throws the blade. Before the blade can impact the tree trunk just above where Naruto's head was, the little blonde turns to fall off his perch and land on all fours on the ground, glaring at Kakashi. Standing up, raising a fist at the Jonin, Naruto barks, "What the hell is the matter with you, throwing a knife at me? Oh Naruto, you're awake now, that's good. I was worried that you would miss out on our training if you kept sleeping there, and as for the knife, well, I guess we can call ourselves even now, a kunai for a kunai." As Team 7 follows Kakashi over by the memorial stone and the three large wooden posts, they watch as Kakashi takes out an alarm clock and puts it on a sawed-off tree stump. After setting the alarm, he turns around and says, "All right, now I will explain the survival exercise." Pulling two bells out of his pocket, Kakashi holds them out for all three to see. "You just have to take these bells from me." "Both of them?" Sasuke asks. "Sort of." He pauses to tie the bells to the bottom of his vest. "The only way to pass this test and become a true leaf ninja is to have a bell before noon. If you don't get a bell, then you get tied to one of those posts and get to watch us eat our lunch. And, since there are only two bells, then one of you will flunk out and go back to the academy." Kakashi pauses again and waits as he sees the cogs working through the team's brains at this new information. Sakura looked horrified, Sasuke's eyes narrow, thinking, "So that's why he told us to skip breakfast to make it harder for us." And as if cued by Sasuke's thought, both his and Sakura's stomachs growl loudly, but not Naruto's. Kakashi takes in their appearances, Sakura and Sasuke's grumbling stomachs, the bluish bags under their eyes, and slight slumped stances showed these two haven't eaten or slept well at all. But not Naruto. Now all three glares turn to Naruto as all three realize the same information. Kakashi puts one hand on his hip and points a finger at Naruto with the other. "Well, Naruto, I can see you're not very good and listening to instructions. I did warn you yesterday not to eat anything for this test." Sakura balls her fists and turns to the blonde. "Yeah, Naruto, what is your problem? You even took a nap, so how is that fair?" Folding his arms and snorting at her, "Whatever, Pinky, it's not my fault you two weren't smart enough to take a nap while we waited for the tardy Cyclops. And as for skipping eating today, I could tell he is a liar, and besides, I have never thrown up before and don't plan on it today." Scratching his chin, Kakashi raises his eyebrow and looks down at Naruto. "HMMN, you've never thrown up before, huh? Well, I'll have to do something about that. After all, it's usually the overconfident ones who get their noses pushed into the mud. Something you should be used to by now, eh, Naruto?" Naruto's looks pissed off as his hand goes to his kunai holster. "Now each of you must come at me with the intent to kill, or else there will be no way you can get these bells. You can use any weapons including shuriken." "Good." Naruto rushes at Kakashi, moving so fast that to Sakura's eyes he was moving in a blur. While running, Naruto's eyes were focused on his silver-haired prey, and it was a good thing they were. By Naruto's sixth step, Kakashi appears to vanish to the other two members of Team 7, but Naruto could barely see the fast blur of Kakashi. He was moving to come at him from behind, so as fast as he could he pivots and launches the shuriken at where Kakashi was going to come at him from. Kakashi seems to materialize behind Naruto, but is still fast enough to dodge the steel stars thrown at him. Still trying to press his attack, Naruto continues his spin and launches a jump spinning wheel kick at the Jonin's head, who ducks and rushes forward to grab one of Naruto's arms and pull it up behind his back, and his other hand grabbing the blonde's hair. To Sakura's amazement, this whole altercation happened in less than 2 seconds, barely seeing the two of them moving, and all she can think is, so fast. Sasuke was taken back by the exchange too. "I could barely see Kakashi move, but so could Naruto. He used to be the second fastest in the academy, but now he might be just as fast as I am. I can't wait to show both of them they haven't seen anything yet." Struggling against the Jonin's grip was only causing pain, so he relaxed slightly, listened to Kakashi's words. Now, I didn't say start yet. But color me surprised, Naruto, you were actually coming at me with the intent to kill. So, how can I say this? I'm actually looking forward to this exercise." Letting go of Naruto with a push, he takes a few steps back to his team. Kakashi then puts up his hand with his index finger pointed up and eye closed. "All right, ready, and start." Sarutobi sits in his office with his hands on either side of the glowing chakra-seeing orb, which is passed down to each Hokage. Looking into the crystal, he can see the action unfolding on Training Ground 7. Watching Kakashi and his new team had interested him enough to skip this morning's paperwork to be able to watch. He remembers just the other day going with Kakashi to inspect Naruto's apartment so they each can get clues into his personality. What both of them saw shocked them. The pillows and lack of furniture was odd, but finding the bloody refrigerator made both of them inspect the contents closely, just to be sure there weren't any human pieces in there. Naruto's apartment had taught them two things about the strange aggressive boy. One was that Naruto didn't live or think like any other human in the village. And two, he was acting more like an animal or a crazy person. Sarutobi asked Kakashi as they left the dirty apartment to use his test to determine whether or not Naruto has the right state of mind to become a leaf ninja. Naruto, with the mindset, attitude, and anger you show everyone around you makes me fear letting you learn even more jutsu. I don't want to have another ninja raised to turn out like Orochimaru again, especially since you are one more child to have the honor of going through the bell test. After a few minutes pass, Kakashi is alone in the clearing after watching the three teens scatter away to the trees. A ninja must be able to conceal their movements and effectively hide from an enemy. Looking around and peering into the shadows in the trees or bushes show no sign of the young would-be ninjas. Well, at least they know that much, they're well hidden. Huh. The sound of something rushing through the leaves in the trees alerted him to turn around. And what he sees is Naruto rocketing through the air towards him, body stiff straight like he was flying. Facing me head on. I think someone is underestimating me. Naruto, continuing on his flight, lifts his knees to his chest and then straightens both feet out, trying to slam his heels into Kakashi's chest. The blonde continues on course when Kakashi just steps out of the way to watch Naruto fly harmlessly away. Another sound comes to his attention behind him, a screeching sound followed by the smell of burning wood. At this point time seems to slow down as Kakashi's sharp eyes and quick mind take in the events happening very fast around him. Turning towards the sound, Kakashi's eye widens when he sees ninja razor wire wrapped around the tree Naruto was sleeping on earlier. Then, following the shine from the near invisible wires, he can see that Naruto is holding onto the ends. And his momentum was now making him swing horizontally, bringing the wires close to the Jonin, who quickly hops a couple of feet in the air to dodge the razors. But Naruto sees Kakashi's reaction and in that millisecond smiles. Naruto then extends his arms, spreading the wires apart, and spins his body. The effect is that instead of passing under the Jonin, one of the wires now passes over Kakashi. Naruto, still mid-swing, then pulls the wires tight, making them cross, creating a scissor cut towards Kakashi's torso. Kakashi can see the wires closing in on him. No, those will cut me in half. Pulling his feet together, Kakashi leans back like the world's best limbo artist, and time seems to slow even more as the wires close in on him. Following the lean back, he uses the tips of his sandals to tap the wires, giving him the momentum to finish the backflip back to the ground, letting the wires pass right by. Time starts back at its normal rate again as his heart slows a few beats. When Kakashi lands on all fours, he watches Naruto continue his swing and pulls out a shuriken. Throwing the weapon, he cuts the wires, sending Naruto falling to the ground. Naruto lands on his feet, sliding in the dirt to come to a stop. Spinning around, the blonde looks left, right, up, and down, but before he can look behind him, he hears, "You shouldn't let people get behind you." Looking over his left shoulder, he can see Kakashi knelt down with his hands held in the tiger sign. Leaf Village secret jutsu, getting the finger. In more than a figurative way, Naruto is shot into the air as Kakashi yells, "1,000 years of death." Naruto's howl of pain bounces off the trees as he flies through the air, heading towards the river, where he splashes face first into the water. Sakura and Sasuke were both watching the whole exchange. Sakura's mouth was wide open in the beginning at the deadly attack Naruto started with, but ended in a disappointed look on her face. "I thought he was going to kill Naruto, but all he did was stick him in the ass. They're both just a bunch of idiots." Sasuke starts reaching for his shuriken, seeing Kakashi's back to him and a little orange book in his hand. Then Naruto bursts back out of the water and begins to stalk towards Kakashi with a murderous look on his face. "New one. Has EVERRR done that to me?" At the last word, 6 more Narutos burst out of the water and all 7 of them rush the Jonin. Spreading his feet slightly, Kakashi watches the blonde horde running towards him, but another feeling caught his immediate attention around his waist. There was a tugging on the bells. Looking down, he can see them being pulled away from him from behind, but there's nothing grabbing at him. "I can't see anything." Making a knife hand with his left, he took a chance and swiped his arm back at the height Naruto would be if he was there, stealing the bells behind him. The wild strike makes contact and a shimmer-like liquid mirror in the shape of a small teen bends at the strike, then explodes into smoke as the clone jutsu is dispelled. Quickly looking back at the fast-approaching group of Narutos, so shadow clones weren't the only jutsu you learned from the scroll Naruto. He knows the transparency jutsu, so not only can he make himself some back up, but some will be invisible. The 7 Narutos jump into the air and each had a kunai pointed at various kill spots on Kakashi. Alright Naruto, I'll give you credit, you have talent but you're missing the crucial element to beat me. The sound of 3 heavy thumps hit the tall Jonin, one on each leg and one on his back, each one invisible clones. And the one on Kakashi's back leans close to his ear and says, "Surprise. Is that what I was missing? Well then, surprise." From the trees and a set of bushes, Sakura and Sasuke watch as the 7 Naruto stab into the trapped Jonin in shock. But what they were seeing changes right before their eyes. What was once Kakashi in the invisible hold is now one of the Naruto clones with the sharp pain of being stabbed stretched across his face right before puffing to smoke. Stopping for a second, all 9 now visible Narutos all look down at the ground thinking. One Naruto in particular runs his hand over the spots on his torso and neck where his clone had been stabbed. Each clone was working over the information it just received from the expelled clone. And now Naruto knows what it feels like to be stabbed. Now looking as if each of them coming back to reality, all 9 Naruto start looking around for Kakashi. One stops and stares at the ground by the tree he had set his wires while he was napping earlier. On the ground in the shadow of the tree were the 2 bells from Kakashi's vest. Tapping one of the others, the clone tells all of them about his find, then they each discuss among themselves in a close huddle. They were whispering at such a volume not one of the other 3 watching them could hear. After a couple seconds of talking, one Naruto rushes at the bells, then gets caught in the trap set by Kakashi. Then 2 more sprint towards the bells as the first is pulled into the air, their eyes alert for hidden traps and wires. Right before the 2 new Narutos make within arm's length of the bells, Kakashi comes out of nowhere landing 2 feet on each clone's heads, popping them into smoke. Kakashi stands up holding the bells in his left hand, looking the last 6 Narutos down. "Well, that trap allowed me to get rid of 3 of you. It's too bad, 2 of your traps haven't worked, so what are you going to try now?" Kakashi had turned his back to the trees where Sasuke was hiding, and taking the chance to strike he launched a couple handfuls of shuriken and kunai. They struck him at his last word to Naruto, making the Jonin start to fall to the ground. Naruto sees his opportunity and all 6 of him rush in with kunai raised. "This is it, dog mask, die." As Kakashi hits the ground and Naruto's knives make contact, the Jonin pops into a log, once again tricking Naruto with the substitution jutsu. At this the clones disappear. All Naruto can do is roar out his frustration. "RRRAAAAAAWWWRRRRRR" is all Sasuke can hear behind him as he rushes through the trees. "Gotta get away from here, that Jonin doesn't drop his guard and now he knows where I was hiding." Sakura was running as fast as she could through the forest, desperately trying to keep up with the sound of what she thought was Sasuke running away. Lost in her own thoughts, she has barely enough time to stop herself from running into Kakashi standing in a clearing reading his book. Pissed, "Sakura, behind you." Spinning as fast as she can to face Kakashi, she realizes too late that she had fallen into a trap, and Kakashi seals her fate, putting his hands together and forming the seal, placing her into a worst fear genjutsu. Kakashi barely watches Sakura freak out of the corner of his eye as he reads his book. Walking away into the clearing when she faints, he can only shake his head, falling for a simple genjutsu. "You learned about it in the academy, but if she doesn't learn how to see these things, she won't get anywhere. Right, Sasuke?" Stepping out from the bushes since he had been found out, Sasuke faces Kakashi in the clearing. "You may have used those cheap tricks to get the others, but I'm different than them. Say that after you get on of these bells, my Sasuke." Kakashi chides the small Uchiha, but still keeps his eye on him from above his book. Staring each other down for what feels like a minute, Kakashi thinks that he might have to start this fight himself when Sasuke suddenly crouches down to launch shuriken at the Jonin. Kakashi dodges, bringing him into a slide by the tree. Sasuke launches his kunai at the rope, setting off the trap he had set up, and now Kakashi has no choice but to jump again to dodge the shuriken, right to where Sasuke was planning on him to go. As fast as Sasuke can, he leaps behind Kakashi so fast it's as if he appears out of nowhere. Sasuke launches a spinning back kick at Kakashi's head, who grabs his foot, giving Sasuke the chance to throw a punch at the Jonin's face. Kakashi easily catches the fist and high blocks the teen's follow-up downward kick. The kick had spun Sasuke around, giving him the vantage he wanted, Kakashi with both hands occupied above his head and the bells unguarded. Kakashi's eye widens as he realizes it too, and all he can do is jump back as Sasuke reaches for and touches the bells. Both stop and stare at each other. Damn, that's two of them that have touched the bells. I won't be able to read Make Out Paradise today. Sasuke's eyes narrow and a small smirk tugs the corner of his mouth as he thinks of his next attack. Putting his hands together he forms the signs Kakashi has seen over and over from Uchiha of the past. What? Genin can't do fire jutsu, it takes too much chakra, there's no way. Sasuke's head leans back and his right hand comes up to his mouth to perform the Uchiha patented Grand Fireball Jutsu. The ball of fire spews forward and enlarges at the spot Kakashi is standing, making an intense blaze. When Sasuke is done, all there is left is a smoldering crater with a small hole in the center, but no body. Sasuke, realizing that the Jonin must have gotten away, starts looking around for him. The only place he hadn't looked was down, which was where Kakashi's hand had burst out from under Sasuke, grabbing a hold of his ankle. A surprised shout is all Sasuke can get out as he is pulled under the ground up to his neck in the dirt and rocks. Kakashi rises out of the ground next to Sasuke's exposed head. That was Earth-style, headhunter jutsu. Can't move, huh? You say you're different than the others, but Naruto actually had his hand on the bells, so different is not always better. Pulling out his book and walking away he says over his shoulder, they say that the nail that sticks up gets hammered down. Sasuke struggles to get himself free of the dirt, but it was like every inch of him was covered with not one pocket of air to move. And he keeps struggling long after Kakashi had left the clearing, struggling and struggling until he hears a rustling in the bushes and the sound of someone running towards the clearing. Someone's coming, I don't want anyone to see me like this, runs through Sasuke's mind as he struggles even harder than before, but to no avail as Naruto comes running into the clearing. Naruto looks left and immediately stops when he sees Sasuke's head sticking out of the ground, and after a very small moment as they each exchange confused look, Naruto bends over backwards laughing so hard that he looks like he is having convulsions. Sasuke, you look different, did you lose some weight? Look at the bright side, huh, at least he didn't bury you head first. Sasuke's face was furious at Naruto's remarks and he yells back, shut up, loser. Instantly Naruto's laughter stops and his head slowly comes down to glare right into Sasuke's eyes. The smallest of grins lights up the blonde's face and a mischievous look twinkles in his eye. Next he leans back slightly and lifts his hands up, connecting his thumbs together and lifting both index fingers so that Sasuke's head could be seen between them. To Sasuke, he can see Naruto's eyes between his fingers, and it seems like Naruto is taking aim right at him. You know what, Sasuke, I haven't kicked a field goal in a long time. Sliding his right foot back and bending his knees he prepares for his running kick. Now don't move, Lucy. Sasuke's eyes widen for a moment then narrow as he thinks, this is bad, I don't think he's joking around. With a quick laugh Naruto's legs twitch and he starts his run, and fate decided to step in and save Sasuke because Sakura chose that moment to run out of the bushes just as Naruto had done. As she notices Naruto standing there she comes to a complete stop mid-step with confusion on her face. When she turns her head and sees Sasuke it takes a few seconds for what she sees to process. Then she starts screaming hysterically, Naruto killed Sasuke and all that's left is his head new. Sakura had too much stress and drops unconscious right on the spot, which was too much for Naruto who started laughing as loud as Sakura had been screaming. After Naruto's laughter stops he wipes the tear from his eye and rubs his now sore belly. Remembering that he was about to kick Sasuke he bends his knees to take his runner's stance again and looks down to see that Sasuke had finally dug himself out and was walking to Sakura. Too bad Sasuke, it would have been really funny to see how far I could have kicked your headband. Naruto stands with his arms crossed smiling at Sasuke to see if he would challenge him. Shut up Naruto, I'll deal with you later, for now I need to pass this test. Sasuke finishes dusting himself off as he walks the last few steps to Sakura. He bends down and shakes her shoulder. Sakura, wake up. The motion on her shoulder slowly wakes her up, and as her eyes open she sees the object of her desire. Oh Sasuke, you're alive. She lunges forward and grabs Sasuke around the neck trying to pull him into a hug. Damn it Sakura, let go. Sasuke pushes her off him and walks a few steps putting his back to them. I have to go get a bell before noon. Naruto laughs a few times at this, like you could. I bet you didn't land one hit against him, did you? Turning to face Naruto, he growls out, "You're not one to talk, I saw you fall for that substitution jutsu earlier and that proves you're a loser." Sakura can only look between them, holding her hand to her chin, expecting the two boys to start fighting any second. But, instead Naruto shows a rare moment of restraint and puts his hands on his hips and smiles. "You know what, you're not that very perceptive, are you, Uchiha?" "Well, it's not surprising since you don't have the Sharingan. Hey, does that mean you haven't hit puberty yet?" Again Naruto's laughter fills the clearing at his own jokes, but Sakura had had enough. "Naruto, take everyone's advice and shut up. You can't stand up to Sasuke since he is the #1 rookie in our class and better than you in everything." Naruto pouts and actually looks hurt at Sakura's words. "Oh come on Sakura, you and I both know that I am a way better kisser than he is." Sakura's face turns murderous and she cracks her knuckles at him, saying between her teeth, "Naruto. Both of you shut up, you're driving me crazy. Now I'm going to go get the bells." He starts walking towards the direction Kakashi walked away. Looking at his back, Sakura calls out, "But Sasuke, Kakashi-sensei is just too powerful for all of us, maybe we should give up and try again next year." Stopping in his tracks, he glares back at Sakura, then looks down to the ground. "No, there's no going backwards for me, I need this training so I can face him." Time wasn't on their sides because they could all hear the bell from Kakashi's clock go off through the trees signaling noon. Back at the Memorial Stone, Team 7 assembles once again. All three teams are standing in front of the wooden posts with Kakashi standing in front of them. The mood is tense and no one says anything, for a loud noise breaks the silence coming from two of the teams. And the faces of Sakura and Sasuke sour at the rumbling of their empty stomachs. Kakashi's eye closes with amusement, stomachs growling, "Huh, that's too bad. Oh, and by the way, about this exercise, I've decided that I won't be sending any of you back to the academy." A gasp is heard from Sakura as she can't believe her own good luck. "All I did was faint, maybe I get points for that." It just goes to show that true love conquers all. Cha. Sasuke's only reaction was to smirk and look at the ground, while Naruto frowns and waits to see what Kakashi's angle is. Sakura though can't hold her excitement anymore and proclaims, "So that means that all three of us have par." "Yes," Kakashi interrupts before she can finish, "all three of you have failed and are going to be dropped from the program permanently." All three teams' reactions happened simultaneously, but all three were uniquely different. Sakura's face was mortified, Sasuke's was angry, and Naruto, well, Naruto had a strange "I know something you don't know" look on his face. And Naruto's face and small laugh had caught all three of the other team members' attentions. "You finding something funny about what I said, Naruto? I'll say it again, you have all failed." Kakashi's curiosity was piqued. He is usually good at setting people up emotionally to his advantage, but Naruto has to be the most unpredictable ninja ever. Staring Kakashi right in the eye, and making sure the others were looking too, he slowly brings his right hand out of his pocket, and holds out in front of him the two bells for all to see. The other three members of Team 7 all collectively say at the same time, "What?" Kakashi looks down at the bells still attached to his waist on his jacket, grabbing at them and giving them a shake. They make the sound of the bells. Wait, the sound is wrong, and they are a little heavier than they should be. Pulling the fake bells free, he throws them at the ground and they both pop with smoke twice. The first pop and they turn back into two Naruto clones, and the second pop they disappear entirely. Looking back at Naruto in shock, he racks his memory for answers. When did he do it? How did he get past me? Thinking back, he remembers when an invisible clone had his hands on the bells when he felt them being pulled. He had to have done it then. When I didn't know he could do the transparency jutsu, he made the clones to ambush me. And when I felt them being pulled must have been when he made the switch. This kid not only made a trap that came close to killing me, but he was able to plan ahead and trick me. Not only did he make clones, he made them invisible and then hold a transformation. The #1 rookie of the year may have been voted on prematurely. Naruto has learned at least 2 S-class techniques from the scroll, and who knows what else he memorized. Sasuke had enough though. "How, Naruto? How did you do it? Tell me. There's no way you passed ahead of me." Naruto looks over at Sasuke and is about to say something but gets cut off by Kakashi. No, he didn't, because I'm still failing all three of you. What? Naruto's anger was making him shake at this declaration. What the fucking hell are you talking about? I passed your stupid test. You're just making stuff up to fail me, you Anbu dog-faced dick. What's wrong? Did I hurt your pride or something? You can't just change the rules because you want to keep me from my destiny. Kakashi waited for him to pause for a breath to interject. It's simple, you didn't pass the fundamental reason for this test. And not only that, but you're all brats and you don't think the way ninja should. Not only Naruto, but Sasuke had enough, so both jumped forward and rushed Kakashi at the same time. And before Sakura could tell what was happening, Kakashi was sitting on Sasuke with Naruto on the bottom of the pile holding onto one each of the boys' arms twisted in a painful way. Let go of Sasuke, you can't treat him like a bum. Sakura, feeling useless just standing there, can only scream in frustration. Kakashi looks up at Sakura and says, you don't know what it means to be a ninja, you think it's all a game, don't you? Why do you think we put you on a squad? Did any of you think of that for one moment? None of you realized what this test was all about, not even close. That is what determines whether you pass or fail. So use your heads. Why do you think we would put 3 people on a squad? Naruto tries moving out of Kakashi's hold again and gets his arm twisted even further. Grunting out of pain, he growls through his teeth, why do I care that you picked 3 of us? I got your bells and passed. I should have knifed you instead. Oh man, it's just so basic, teamwork. That is how you pass this test. Realization dawns on each of their faces at what Kakashi was getting at. Sakura asks, you mean, we just had to work together, that's what you mean? That's what I mean. If you had worked together, then you would have shown me the fundamental meaning of putting a squad together, and together you could have gotten the bells. Squirming again, Naruto grunts out, I did get the bells, what are you, deaf and stupid? So I don't need these 2 losers. Kakashi lets go of Sasuke's arm and pushes him to his feet, but then slams his foot back down onto Naruto's back, pinning him again. That's what I'm talking about, you have the wrong thinking to be a ninja. But sensei, there were only 2 bells, so that means even if we all worked together we would have had one of us still fail. So how could we work together if we knew one of us couldn't make it? Sakura's confused face kept going back and forth between looking at Kakashi and looking at Sasuke to see if the Jonin hurt him. Exactly, I wanted to see if any of you could work together for the betterment of the team and look past your own personal desires. But none of you think about anyone but yourselves. Jonin should have a natural feel for teamwork. Sakura, you obsessed about Sasuke this whole time, not even thinking about a way to help or try and get a bell. Obsession. Sasuke, you don't think anyone around you is useful or close to your skills. Arrogance. And you Naruto, you do everything by yourself, thinking that these 2 are worthless and even trying to flunk them out of the program by keeping both bells for yourself. Narcissistic avarice. Standing up and pulling Naruto up with him, Kakashi shoves the blonde back to stand with the others, then walked over in front of the memorial stone. You see Naruto, this survival exercise which was designed to show me not only you and your team's skills, which I have to admit surprised me, but also your ability to function as a ninja squad. Individual skill is necessary, but to function as part of a team is so fundamental, it's a surprise you don't understand that. It's how we conduct ninja missions, and those who put themselves before the mission end up getting their teammates killed. Even the strongest, fastest, and most gifted ninja have teammates. Giving everything, he just said a moment to sink in. He turns sideways and points to the carved obsidian stone. Did any of you look at this stone, at the names engraved on it? They were all ninja who were KIA, each of them are forever remembered as heroes in this village. And do any of you know why? Each and every one of these names here either died in battle defending our village's freedom, or, and more to the point, ended up dying to protect their teammates. The names of my closest friends are engraved here, people who were able to not only be thinking about accomplishing the mission, but the safety of their teammates came first. Looking at the team again and seeing each of them working over the information in their heads, he takes his chance to surprise them again. Alright, I'm going to give you all one last chance to take the bells, but I'm going to make this much harder than before. We'll all break for lunch and then you will have 3 hours to get a bell, and since Naruto was the only one to get a bell, he gets to eat his lunch while you 2 get nothing. And I won't be tying Naruto to a stump. As for you 2, well. Chomp. The sound of Naruto chewing loudly reverberates through the clearing, which causes Sasuke and Sakura to struggle even harder against the ropes tying them to the posts. But their struggling stops quickly when both of their stomachs growl loudly. Naruto slowly turns his head looking up from his lounging position in front of them and very slowly and deliberately takes another bite of his jerky and chews, making sounds of pure enjoyment. Damn you, Naruto, do you have to eat like that in front of us? Sakura yells out her frustrations at Naruto but doesn't even have the energy for that when her stomach argues with a loud www. Sasuke tries to wiggle out and use the escape jutsu as he did when Naruto tied him up yesterday. Damn Jonin, you really know how to tie knots, and I'm so hungry my hands are starting to shake. Naruto laughs a little and says, like I said earlier, it's not my fault you both weren't smart enough eat something this morning. So you can stop now with the dirty looks. Looking down at the ground, her pink hair covers her face as she weakly says, I'm so hungry, I even skipped eating dinner last night. UHHG, I don't know how I'm going to be able to get a bell, I feel like I'm ready to drop. Sasuke narrows his eyes at this, points out, it doesn't matter, we have to get the bells or else we fail, so pull it together www. Sasuke has a very sheepish look on his face when his stomach growls out in pain and Sakura looks over with worry and then down again. Naruto, looking at both of them, thought they were thinking and looking very hopeless. Thinking for a moment, Naruto makes a decision and throws away the remaining of his jerky. He stands up and starts walking over to the two tied up, who look up wondering what the dangerous blonde was up to. He stands right before them and reaches into his back hip holster and searches around for a second. Sakura's curiosity was too much and asks, Naruto, what are you doing? When Naruto turns back to look at each of them, he holds out between his thumbs and forefingers two round brown balls. Here, eat these, this is why I was so full all day. I stole them from the Akamaiki compound, they're called food pills. If you each eat one it will double your chakra and you won't need to eat for 2 days, so take them already. Shock was on the pink and raven-haired teens, they just couldn't believe that Naruto was doing something helpful, and not just that, but considerate too. Sakura pipes in with her thoughts, but Naruto, Kakashi-sensei said we don't get any food, if we break the rules we will fail anyway. Looking over, Sasuke says, that's not important, what's important is getting those bells and we need the energy to beat Kakashi. So quit complaining and eat them. Looking at Sasuke and looking sad at his harsh words, she looks back at Naruto and nods firmly. Naruto nods at the two of them and throws the balls into the air above their heads, and both of them lean their heads back and catch the pills in their mouths. Chomping down, the pills crunch loudly, and when each of them swallow they feel the instant energy and an odd not heavy full stomach feeling. Then all of a sudden Kakashi makes a grand entrance with a loud bang and smoke, leaning forward and yelling out, you. A few hand signs and the Jonin summons storm clouds with thunder and lightning. Fear and concern can be seen on the teens' faces. Naruto reaches into his pockets, pulling out kunai and pointing them at the ropes binding his teammates behind him. You broke the rules, and now I hope you're ready to face the consequences. Sakura, through her fear, was trying to speak, but you said. Yes. Kakashi prompts. You said we needed to work together, and the last person and we expected to help did. Frowning back at Sakura, Naruto wasn't sure if that was an insult or not. That's right, Naruto has taught us to break the rules a little to accomplish our goal, we couldn't have beat you without his help. Sasuke, determined as always, stares down the Jonin, waiting to see how this all plays out. Naruto is the last to chime in, all for one and one for all, or some crap like that. All for one, huh, is that your excuse? Kakashi's stern voice make all three tense slightly, and then the Jonin says, you pass. The pause of shock was so long that a gust of wind had time swirl some leaves behind them. Sakura's puzzled look was almost hilarious. She asks, we passed, how did that happen? Well, you were right, Naruto was the last person I think any of us were expecting to help out. But you were the first team to succeed in my test, all the others did everything I told them to do and couldn't think for themselves. A ninja must see through deception, and in the ninja world those who break the rules are considered scum. That is true, but those who would abandon their friends are worse than scum. Realization dawns on each of them that they have won, they passed and now a real ninja. The exercise is over, everyone passes, Squad 7 has its first mission tomorrow. Let's all go home. He turns to walk away and Naruto holsters his kunai and follows. And as the two walk away, Sakura calls out, "Hey, wait a minute, you two, come back here and untie us." A slight rustling in the bushes is all the noise the three hidden in the shadows of the trees need to pinpoint the location of their target. And three sets of eyes creep around their hiding spots, one hand raises to the microphone on his neck, target in sight. Let's get this over with, I'll get it. Go slow, Naruto. Sakura ready, give us the order. Confirmed. Quote. Okay. Now. Three blurs of motion move on the same bush. One from the trees on the left, another around the trees from the right, and the last straight at it, making the target scared and looking at each of its attackers not sure what to do. The blonde one is the first to get his hands on the medium-sized cat's legs, and after his roll on the ground he springs to his feet holding the cat out for the two others to see. Well, I win again, sometimes I wonder why I even need you two here. The look each of the other two's faces of pure dislike is barely registered by Naruto's crimson eyes when the cat twists and begins to scratch the shit out of Naruto's face. Falling to the ground with the cat on his chest and continually scratching his face, Naruto barely hears Sasuke confirm the capture over his mic to Kakashi as scratches with little stripes of blood appear on the blonde's face. The other two watch in amusement thinking that Naruto deserves his punishment, but suddenly Naruto's sandals come up and pin the cat's head between the soles of his feet. Leaning up, crimson eyes slit in the middle meet yellow-green eyes slit in the middle, then the yellow-green eyes roll back in its head twitching as the crimson-eyed one breaks both of his hind legs in one twist per hand. And, years from now, Sakura will admit to her trusted sensei that the sound that wakes her up some nights is what she is hearing right now. The loud wail of a cat that has had both its legs broken is deafening for anyone within earshot, but Kakashi's head was vibrating wildly with the loud sound of an open mic transmitting in his ear. Recovering from the shock to his eardrum, Kakashi knew what had happened from the sound of it. He then yells at the top of his lungs. Yells the third Hokage at Naruto crouching in the middle of Team 7 assembled before the mission registrar. Leaning his head to the left until he hears a pop, then righting it back up to look at the cage while picking his ears with his pinky finger. "I'm sorry, my ears are ringing, were you trying to say something, old man?" Pointing his finger at Naruto while holding his pipe, the cage narrows his eyes and says, "Do you even understand the point of the mission given to you? You were meant to find and capture the runaway house pet Tora, and bring back to his owner. The only reason your team is getting paid is because of that small technicality, although I assured the feudal lord's wife that I would deduct your pay of the mission from her fee." Snorting and looking up and to the left, Naruto snickers and utters, "Whatever that damn cat was slashing my face, if I did nothing then he would have gouged out my fucking eyes. But now we can all look on the bright side, there will be no more missions for Genin chasing a cat from the third level of hell. That cat will never run again, and will spend the rest of its short days being crushed by that overweight banshee's breasts. That's what I call justice. Naruto, that is the Fire Lord's wife, and never say that again. You are not going to get missions or experience if you get a bad reputation for brutality." Sitting down and crossing his arms, Naruto squints up at the cage. "Experience chasing cats, fixing an old man's fence while telling me to paint our fence, or picking weeds, and definitely babysitting are not missions, they are just stupid baby stuff you tell a teenager to do before you tell them to get a job. I guess it's no wonder why so many ninja die on missions if they are trained this way." Hearing enough, Iruka stands leaning forward to slam both palms on the table and yell, "How dare you, you are just GENIN starting out on the path of the ninja." Naruto. The old cage leans back, putting his pipe in the corner of his mouth and closes his eyes as he begins one of his famous lecture poses. "It is clear that you do not understand the reason these tasks have been given to you. A ninja's life is dictated by his ability to carry out a mission, and get paid for it too. We have 5 classes of mission requests that come into our village on a daily basis. And because of the severity of these requests, whether they be for simple protection to assassinations, or babysitting to building a bridge, we designate these missions in importance and put them into the proper class from D at the bottom, then C, B, A, and finally S. Each class requires proper ninja ranks assigned to them. Genin get the D and some C missions, while every C mission requires one at least Chunin ranked assigned, and Chunin and Jonin are the only ones who usually get assigned B and A. And S rank missions are assigned to the elite Jonin, Anbu, and sometimes the cage comes too. You, who are just starting out on the path of the ninja, are given the D rank missions that require the least amount of experience, but gives you a chance to practice and hone your ninja skills while earning a fee. Huh. Opening his eyes, the cage sees that none of Team 7 seem to be listening to him. Sasuke was looking off to the right looking annoyed, and Sakura was scolding Naruto saying, "That's gross, Naruto," as the blonde was vigorously scratching his head with what looked like copious amounts of dandruff and even a few bugs falling to the floor. Silence. The Hokage gets all their attention again and thunders out, "And you, Naruto, you live as a ninja and your livelihood and the livelihoods of your teammates depends on this life. If you keep losing us clients like you have today, then you and the village suffer." Naruto pops to his feet and puts his right hand on his hip and points with his left at Sarutobi. "Whatever, old man, ninja shouldn't be picking weeds and digging trash out of the bushes and grass. If you keep holding us back like this, then we will never get any stronger. The experience I have gained from working in the village for the villages is that I've learned they're all a bunch of ungrateful bags of meat. So you can forget it. I'm not taking any more of these stupid missions. I know you have a better mission for us in that book, and I'm not leaving with any other than that." The boldness of Naruto's declaration was enough to quiet the room, each person mulling over their own thoughts. Sakura was worried that they were going to get even worse missions now. Sasuke was thinking that Naruto did have a good point, so he turns his piercing dark eyes on the cage to show his determination in his focus. Kakashi was just thinking that he was going to have to go through another lecture from the Hokage about teaching kids when he and everyone hears the chuckle from the old man. Laughing a little to himself, the big hat with the kanji for fire in the middle lifts just enough to show the cage's eyes leer into Naruto's, and the older man says, "So, Naruto is afraid of becoming weaker without a challenge. You think you're ready for the real ninja world. You're not interested in the money or prestige, you just want to get stronger, huh?" Still standing in his defiant pose, now with both of his fists on his waist, Naruto just stares down his cage. The tension in the room breaks when Sarutobi says, "Fine." Disbelief dawns on most faces in the room. "I have a C-rank mission in mind that I can give you." A look of triumph spreads on Naruto's face. Even Sasuke looked pleased at the turn of events. Sakura looked shocked and Kakashi's eye was a little shocked too. "In this mission you all will be bodyguards for a bridge builder while escorting him home. It's for minor protection from robbers and road bandits. Something I think a team of ninja shouldn't have a problem with, right?" "Yes. Mission accepted. When do we leave?" Naruto's expression had to have been one of the happiest the cage had seen. It was like it was his birthday. "Be patient, Naruto. First let's meet your client." Turning his head at the door, Sarutobi calls out loud enough for the ninja on the other side of the door to hear, "Please let him in." Team 7 turns in unison to see the door panel slide open to reveal a man in his early 60s chugging a bottle of sake stagger in. When the old man belches and wipes his mouth, he looks up at his team of ninja protectors and says, "What's with this, huh? I'm supposed to trust my life to a bunch of brats." He staggers forward, taking another swig of his bottle as the team takes in their client with disappointed looks on their faces. "And what's with the little dirty one? Did you guys pick him up off the street and put him to work? He looks like he's half mad." Naruto thought for a moment, standing between Sasuke and Sakura, what it was the old man was talking about, and he noticed when looked left to right that they were both pretty clean. But when he looks again, faster this time, and then stands as tall as he can and finally makes the conclusion that he is the shortest member in the group. Fury blazes in Naruto's eyes as he looks back to his new client who is still drinking away, and in a flash his hand drops to his leg holster attached to his right thigh, pulling a kunai by the ring. And again in a flash he spins the knife around a few times on his finger, then sends the knife flying at the old man. A collective gasp pulls at the air in the room when everyone sees the knife fly the last few inches towards its target, and then they watch as the blade breaks through the old man's bottle, spraying the alcohol all over his face. Kakashi walks up from behind Naruto and then punches him right in the head. "Naruto, you're supposed to protect the client, not try and kill him." Holding the back of his head, Naruto glares back. "Well, now he knows to think twice before insulting me." The old man had recovered and was glaring back at Naruto too. "You damn mad savage, I hope your aim is just that good and you didn't hit me on purpose." Well, whatever, I can't afford anything else, so at least you got the guts to throw one of those. Wiping himself down and folding his arms at Team 7, he says, "My name is Tazuna, and I expect you to get me back home to my village alive even at the cost of your lives." After a few hours, each member of the escort party went home or to ninja shops to gear up for the trip to come. They needed 3 days of supplies and ninja tools for possible combat. Each one of them with their packs full meet up at the west gate and check out with the guards. After signing out in the roster at the exit, it signified the beginning of their mission. And as they walk out, the teens, like most residents of the Leaf, look up and see the massive 4-foot deep doors they are walking under and take in the sight with a little wonder. And after walking out onto the path that winds through the woods taking you away from Konoha, Naruto stretches his arms out and laughs out loud, all of a sudden getting everyone's attention. Kakashi looks over at Naruto while walking with his hands in his pockets. "What are you so happy about, Naruto?" Not looking back as he continues to walk forward and say over his shoulder, "This is the first time I've been allowed to leave the village. It's about time to stretch me legs out and see the world again." As they continue to walk on through the forest, none of them sense the pair of eyes looking at them from the shadows of one of the monstrously large trees' tops. And for small parts of the trip they trail the group of 4 ninja, and their target. And after over 5 hours of walking, the silence and staring at nature had bored Sakura, which had brought up a few questions. "Hey Mr. Tazuna, you're from the land of waves, right?" "Yeah, what about it, Pinky?" That last remark had elicited a quick snort of laughter from Naruto after he heard his favorite nickname he used for her. A nerve twitching on her forehead in annoyance makes her turn her head sharply to look over at Kakashi. "Well, Kakashi-sensei, don't they have ninja of their own that he could have hired instead?" Kakashi looks up and seems deep in thought when he says, "No, the land of waves is a country surrounded by water, not to mention the villages are more small collections of islands than a government power." Thinking on this and on the reports they each read about the water village they were walking to, at some point they were going to need to take a boat to get there. And in the meantime train their eyes for signs of any bandits. They walk, and after a while they cross a stream and get on a new path. Naruto is working through his backpack looking at some things when he looks up to see a small puddle ahead on the side of the dirt path. He then looks down again and crumples a piece of paper into a small ball and tosses it into the puddle as he walks by, then throws his backpack back on his back and keeps on walking. Sakura, seeing this, takes a few fast steps and walks off to the right of Naruto and scolds him for littering in the wild. As they bicker, the group is distracted by the exchange and even Kakashi looks over to listen after looking down and the small puddle of water Naruto threw his trash into. And after the puddle was 5 feet behind the group, the water swells upward like a living thing. 2 ninja cloaked in cloth and metal materialize up and out of the water. Jumping into action, one of the Demon Mist brothers throws the other into the air and the other flies to their target, dragging the razor chain link between them behind. Spinning in the air, twisting his chain so that the blades would wrap around the silver-haired leader of the group. Then twisting and pulling together they tear the silver-haired ninja to shreds in front of the others, making Sakura scream, "Kakashi-sensei." And in a flash the mist ninja were moving again, and as they were moving up behind Naruto he was thinking to himself, "These guys are not as fast as Kakashi, they're coming for me, time to kill." Sakura was next to Tazuna, and she saw the mist brothers materialize behind Naruto. The twins reach for Naruto's shoulders with the big claws, and are surprised by the sudden backward move where Naruto bends to look behind him and throws 2 kunai at their heads. The mist nin move their heads out of the way and continue their lunge at the blonde. Naruto bends back forward, bringing his arms up high, blocking under the claws into the forearm guards, bumping them up and away. Then there is a slight bump on the mist nin's arms. When they look up they see Sasuke has landed on their forearms. Twisting and grabbing their wrists, Sasuke sends 2 back kicks to the mist nin's faces, sending them flying back. Sasuke wasn't done yet. He had seen the razor chain and what it can do, so he sends a shuriken into one of the holes in the chain, pinning it to the tree. Sasuke follows up with a kunai, trapping the chain to the tree as the mist brothers discovered while trying to pull their favorite weapon free. Naruto glares over at Sasuke and says, "Hey, I had them first, so no butting in." The blonde turns back to the mist nin on the right and does 3 hand signs and points 1 finger while hold a sign under his chin. "I've got this, Kai." For the millisecond after he said his last word, a slight shine can be seen from the tip of Naruto's dirty claw pointed at the brother with a small piece of paper stuck to the horn on his helmet. And at the end of that millisecond, a loud and bright explosion erupts in a small but intense ball of fire on the side of the nin's face, dropping him to the ground. The other brother growls out and rips the chain off his gauntlet, then runs fast in a blur at Sakura standing in front of Tazuna. Pulling his claws back to attack, the mist nin runs the last few steps to cut his way through the girl when Sasuke appears to stand in front of Sakura with a kunai held in front. The mist nin didn't have a chance to make it the last steps to attack when Kakashi's arm comes out of nowhere to strike and grab the windpipe of the masked ninja. Surprise stretches across everyone's faces as they see the person they had just thought was sliced to pieces and arrive like a hero, standing all cool with the dust settling around him from his fast arrival as he says, "Yo. HMPHF, so you survived that sneak attack, Cyclops. I really thought you were a goner. I even thought I saw blood fall from the pieces of that henge." Sakura pipes in, "That's right, you used the combination of the transformation jutsu and the substitution jutsu. He did it so fast I didn't see a hand sign." Kakashi walks over past Naruto to put the ninja down by his unconscious partner by the tree, and by closer inspection of the nin who took her explosive tag to the head he could tell he was still alive. He was going to have a nasty scar on the side of his face for life, but he was alive. Kakashi stands and turns to the blonde of his team, "Naruto, very good. Not only did you see the suspicious puddle but quickly set a trap and defend yourself." Turning to the other boy, "Sasuke, you too, very good reflexes and fast thinking." Sakura, very good staying on mission and protecting Tazuna, shows natural instincts. The whole point of letting the ninja attack the rest of you was to see how you would handle the situation, and you reacted perfectly. This team just repelled an attack from a Chunin death squad, congratulations. Walking over to see Naruto pump his fist into the air and bark at his victory, Kakashi notices 3 scratches on his left arm. Naruto, stop moving around, look at your arm. Did you get scratched by their claws? Looking over at his arm, Naruto huffs, "Yeah, it was when the Uchiha butted in and landed on the arms I was blocking. I could have taken them both, Uchiha, so mind your business next time." Whatever, lunatic. Kakashi walks up to look at Naruto's arm and the others close in to see too. And at closer inspection, the wound was rapidly closing up. Right before his eyes he saw the skin stitching itself back together with the light lime green poison leaking out of the skin. Thinking for a moment of the implications of the fox's effect on Naruto's body, he is then surprised again when Naruto pulls his arm away and takes out a kunai and wipes the poison along the double side edge of the weapon, effectively poisoning it. Naruto looks up at Kakashi's confused face and says, "What? I heal fast and I'm immune to poison, so no need to get a hissy fit over it." "Well, yeah, Naruto, that was cool and all how you just wiped the poison off your rapidly healing arm, but what are you going to do with a poisoned kunai?" Naruto deposits the kunai in his back holster and crosses his arms, then says, "You never know when you want to poison someone, so it's good to have." Tazuna had had enough listening to the calm ninja after just being attacked by 2 people trying to kill him. Now wait a minute, besides the kid having crazy powers, who are those 2 guys that attacked us? Kakashi turns his lazy eye over to the old man. "They are Chunin from the village hidden in the mist. They are specialists at attacking until they have killed their target, and I learned a lot by letting the genin handle the attack, like who they were targeting." Tazuna, taken aback at the implications, he says, "What do you mean by that?" "This, I wanted to see whether they were attacking us, ninja attacking ninja, or if you were their target. When you came to Konoha to hire ninja, you told us you were expecting to need protection from common thugs, not trained ninja. If we had known that there were possible ninja battles ahead, we would have charged you at least a B rank mission and staffed stronger, more experienced ninja. But because you lied to us, you got kids who got out of school less than a month ago to protect your life." Tazuna looks down in shame at hearing the accusations of his lies. "While I am proud to say that my students gained a great experience and have proven themselves on their first battle, it is not okay that you lied to us though. We have now exceeded the initial expectations of this mission." "Oh, enough, Kakashiklops." Kakashi and everyone turn to see Naruto. "This is exactly what I wanted for a ninja mission, and you're giving this guy a hard time for a goldmine opportunity to fight and kick some ninja ass. Naruto, just because you came out on top this time and have some crazy immunity to poison doesn't mean you will be able to handle the bigger guns they're going to bring in next." Sasuke grunts, then says, "Whatever, the insane Dobe is right, this is why we became ninja, to overcome this kind of danger. Then looking out of the corner of his eye at Naruto, Sasuke thinks, Naruto is immune to poison too, and he even took out one of those chunin by himself. I need to close the gap in our strength, I won't be outdone by him. Sakura chimes in, I think what the guys are saying, Kakashi-sensei, is we are confident that we can handle ourselves like we just did, so we want to continue the mission. Kakashi looks back and forth between Sakura and Sasuke, and he was just about to order the team back to Konoha when he notices that Naruto has already started walking the other way. Well, what the heck, let's do it. What's the worst that could happen? After they traveled the last miles to the rendezvous point and began to travel by boat, they entered the thick blinding mist going by the seafaring knowledge of the man rowing the boat. After a time the half-finished bridge came into view, and while Kakashi pushes Tazuna for information about why he lied to us, Naruto is lost in his thoughts as Tazuna tells the story of the downfall of Wave Country. I have been taking every moment training to try and awaken my demon chakra, but still nothing. I had even thought that my powers could be awakened during real kill or be killed combat. When I was in my true form, my anger would tap into my deep wells of chakra, and the more intense the fight, the faster and more power I could tap into. But against that mist ninja and feeling this human heartbeat faster and wilder from the danger, I still feel nothing. It's almost like my power isn't there at all. But that can't be possible. I remember the sealing 12 years ago and the feeling of my chakra and spirit being pulled inside the seal in the child's navel. But when I was pulled inside the spiral seal and being sent inside the cage just like inside the other prisons I've resided in, what was different was that this time, while I felt my spirit being dragged to the prison, the chakra I pulsed into the blonde Hokage had made an opening inside the seal which allowed me to escape. But it was like falling upward, and I was confused about where I was going. And when I was finally getting a sense of place, I felt my eyes and blinking but finding that I was living inside a baby human's body. Oh man, that was total hell. I don't think I could ever go through that experience again. There isn't a demon or kami that would make a hell where someone would have to suffer human infancy. It's too cruel. Oh, human babies are the most useless things. I couldn't take care of myself for months. Anyway, I need to continue these type of missions. I need to see if more intense danger can bring out a sliver of my Yuki. Once I learn where the tap is in this body, I can start learning how to harness my power in this human chakra coil system. And then I can start destroying this seal that holds me back, and escape this mortal coil. Turning his head away from the bridge, he looks at the rest of the group in time to see that most of the people in the boat were looking right at him, and Kakashi was finishing saying, "What do you think about it, Naruto?" Blinking at them and looking a little owlish, he says, "Sorry, were you just saying something?" All four of them sweat drop at Naruto missing out on a very dramatic and heartfelt story of tragedy and attempting triumph over adversity. And Kakashi's eye narrows a little as he thinks, hey, that's one of my lines. Clearing his throat, Kakashi says, "We were wondering if you had an opinion about protecting Tazuna so he could finish his bridge and save his village and people, so what do you think?" Naruto frowns and takes the time to look at each person and then say, "I'm confused. Didn't we agree to this already? Why are you wasting time asking again? Let's go kick the ninja's ass that's trying to kill you so we can get stronger. So yeah, or whatever, let's save these pathetic people or whatnot." Kakashi frowns at the obvious less than enthusiastic attitude to helping human life, and they stay in relative silence while the boat ride comes to an end as they make it to the first island. They depart and make their way through the small collection of homes along the coast and into the woods again along the path to get to Tazuna's home. While walking, the group was keeping to the standard walking formation to escort Tazuna. This time the enemy won't send Chunin. If Jayuto is hiring ninja, then they most likely send a Jonin this time. And if I remember right, then the last time I checked the bingo book, the Demon Brothers of the Mist were Nuke Nin and Muscle for Hire. So what other missing nin are most likely to be sent? This mission could turn out to be quite dangerous, and I'm taking the last Uchiha and the son of my mentor into danger. I must be out of my mind. Continuing on the path, the team stays quiet, each of them preparing their minds for the next possible attack. Naruto was leading the path, just like he was the last time the group ran into Ninja, and Sasuke was noticing. Now Sasuke picks up the pace and walks faster until he was now in the lead and can see Naruto look at him out of the corner of his eye. "That's right, Naruto, you're not going to stay in front of me for very long. I will surpass you in power, and use this opportunity to try and awaken my Sharingan." After a few more minutes of walking and moving closer to the lake they could see through the trees, both Sasuke and Naruto stop at the same time. Kakashi looks at them both. What's up, guys? You hear something? Both Sasuke and Naruto look to the left and point in the bushes. Kakashi had heard a slight rustling too from that direction, so he looks just in time to see a kunai slice through the bush they were all looking at, then hear it embed into a tree. Kakashi sighs as he looks at Naruto. Say Naruto, how many times now is it that I have told you not to use kunai knives without thinking first? Naruto puts his hands up saying, whatever, as Kakashi and the group make their way to where Naruto threw his knife. And a strange screeching sound meets their ears when they find Naruto's kunai stuck in a tree with a rabbit stuck to the tree because the knife had pinned its big floppy ear into the bark. Sakura screeches in anguish and rushes forward to release and comfort the white bunny. Naruto, I swear if you hurt another innocent creature around me that can cry like this, then I'm gonna give you something to cry about. Naruto looks at her and says, ooh, I'm shaken, give me the rabbit and I'll put it out of its misery. Kakashi had enough time to think about the snow rabbit and how strange its color was. He came to the conclusion that it was used for a substitution before he had to yell out, get down. Kakashi had heard the sound of a large object with an edge slicing through the air coming right at him, and in the next moment after everyone dropped to the floor, the huge steel sword went spinning past where most of their torsos were just at. The huge spinning metal weapon finishes its flight by embedding itself into a tree 30 feet up, and in the next moment a fast shape appears standing on the handle of the giant cleaver. Kakashi had confirmed his suspicions on who that was when Zabuza the demon of the mist turned his bandaged head to stare at the small team. So, it's Kakashi of the Sharingan, did I get that right? And it is Momoki Zabuza, formerly of the village hidden in the mist, a missing nin and former domestic terrorist. Is that right? The teens of Team 7 kept looking back and forth between the newly arrived Zabuza and Kakashi. The two males stopped and frowned at Kakashi for a little while. Both of them worked over the little bit of info they just learned. Kakashi was known as of the Sharingan, and both of them wanted to know why. Then Sasuke focuses his mind. This was what he was looking forward to. He wasn't going to let Naruto make the first move this time. Reaching down to unlash the clasp on his thigh holster, Sasuke dashes forward so fast it gets a gasp from Sakura. But before Sasuke can make it past Kakashi, the Jonin moves in front of the dark-haired teen with his hand out. No Sasuke, not this time, this guy isn't close to the class of the last two we faced, he is on a whole another level. Then reaching up to his headband, both Naruto and Sasuke see Kakashi reveal the left side of his face and the scar running down the middle of his left eye. And when he opens the eye, they both see a sight from their past. A red eye with 3 comma marks opens to make a strange vibration of chakra that could almost be felt and heard. VWEEN. The Sharingan. Well, I consider myself honored. Zabuza continues to regard them with his back turned, looking over their shoulder. I get to face the famed Sharingan in combat. Now I know this is too bad to hear, but I need you to turn over the old man. I have a contract asking for his head. And, as you can see, I am contracted to protect this man. It could not be worth your while. Alright everyone, Manji formation, protect Tazuna and stay out of this fight, now. Both Sakura and Sasuke jump in front of Tazuna and hold their kunai out in formation, but Naruto was staying put on the side of Kakashi. Looking out the corner of his eye, Kakashi says, what is wrong Naruto, get in formation. Naruto turns his glare on Kakashi as he looks into the Sharingan in his left eye. I thought you said your name was Hatake, not fucking Uchiha, so what do you have to say about that? Kakashi frowns at the strange behavior in Naruto and remembers to address it later in the back of his mind. Not now Naruto, I am a Hatake, and I do have a Sharingan, so get over it and get in formation so you can survive this. Naruto growls out, then jumps back to land in his position on Tazuna's right side with kunai at the ready. Sasuke looks over at Naruto, wondering to himself why Naruto reacted so strongly to discovering this new secret of Kakashi's. The Sharingan is supposed to be a rare trait only found in my clan, the Uchiha clan. Kakashi-sensei only has one of them, and with that scar it looks like he obtained the eye, and not inherited it, and from who? Now it makes sense why he was chosen to be our Jonin-sensei. He will teach me the secrets of my dojutsu. And strangely enough, Naruto's thoughts were similar, so now it makes sense why Kakashi was assigned to be my sensei. With that Sharingan, the village elders must think that Kakashi can control my fox powers like Madara of the past. This eye power keeps following me, but it will not control me forever. I can overcome it. While the teens held the ground around the client, Kakashi stares down the mist Jonin as he jumps out on the water's surface and makes a few hand signs to cast the hidden mist jutsu, making the entire area fill with white-out mist conditions where a few feet in front of your eyes was all you can see. Disorientation kicks in as the sounds of Zabuza's mocking fills the area while he lists off the medical kill spots on the human body. All four not in the fight were feeling the fear of blindness mixed with the feeling of chakra being raised, which made the humidity seem even more oppressive. It felt like they were choking. But Kakashi's voice breaks through the mist. Don't worry. Then all of a sudden Kakashi sends out a pulse of chakra that moves some of the mist, making the leaf Jonin visible again. Turning back to look at his genin, I won't let any one of my team die even if it costs me my life. That's for each of you. So relax and breath. The anxiety is relieved enough to bring confidence back, but then they hear, "It's funny you should say that as I'm about to kill them all." The sound was coming from behind all the genin, and Tazuna looks down to look at the back of the mist ninja, as the genin turn to see the enemy right behind them in the middle of their formation, sword ready. In the next second Zabuza twitches and starts his swing that would cut through all four of them in one stroke, but in the middle of that second before Zabuza could kill them, Kakashi had rushed back and ran a kunai through the mist nin's heart. But instead of the telltale spread of warmth and sopping wetness in the cloth where blood spills around a stab wound, instead there is a steady drip of liquid hitting the grass. Looking down, Kakashi can see the clear water dripping from the wound he had inflicted with his blade, then drags the blade across the water clone's chest to make it disappear with a splash. In the next moment Kakashi felt the presence of an already swinging sword from behind, but by the time he turned to look over his shoulder at his attacker he could see the mist ninja drive his blade through his torso, cleaving him in two. Zabuza's eyes widen as he thinks he has defeated the copy ninja, but frowns when he notices that the body he had sliced turned to water. The copy ninja, he copied my water clone jutsu in the mist and switched with his clone as I was moving into position. Then that means. Looking over his shoulder, Zabuza can see the tip of the kunai at his throat next to his jugular and Kakashi standing right behind him holding the knife. Don't move, you're finished. Narrowing his eyes at the silver-haired ninja, Zabuza laughs, hey, very skilled Kakashi. Setting me up with my own jutsu. You pulled that off well, but finished, I hardly think so. Nice try. Then Kakashi suddenly hears Zabuza finish his sentence from behind him. But I'm not that easy to fool. Popping the water clone in front of him, Kakashi turns his attention to the real Zabuza behind him, who was swinging his very real sword trying to cut him in half again. Quickly ducking saved Kakashi's life but opened him up for the mist ninja's follow-up back kick to his face. The hit sent him flying through the air. Unable to stop himself, he falls into the lake. When Kakashi's head breaks the surface, he tries to use his chakra to stand on the surface. Something's wrong. This water is already heavy with chakra. I can't get a hold of this water. Kakashi had gotten his arms out of the water in time to hear Zabuza appear behind him with the swish sound of fast hand signs. Water style, water prison jutsu. In an instant a sphere of water bursts out of the lake enveloping Kakashi, and inside the sphere the water had turned as hard as steel. No, Kakashi can still move his eyes and head a little, and now he desperately calls to his students, "That's it, run. You can't finish this enemy, take the bridge builder and go." The wide eyes of Sakura start to tear up as she thinks about her sensei being killed like this. Sasuke and Naruto on the other hand think about their options. Zabuza calls out for all to hear, "Water clone jutsu." The water rises and becomes the perfect replica of Zabuza, who then stalks onto land towards the teens and his target. Sasuke watches the enemy and realizes that if they leave, then Kakashi will most likely be killed and then the mist ninja will track them down and kill them off. He realizes, the best option is to fight. Naruto realizes it too, but his reasons for staying were darker. This ninja is supposed to be out of my league, me a genin and him a jonin. But just like that insufferable Iruka said in one of his classes, a ninja of a lower rank can overcome a high-rank ninja if he has surprise and cunning. And even if it's painful to my pride to admit it, but I have been defeated by these weak humans too, all because they got the better of me and used a trick. And besides, if I ran away from this so-called demon of the mist, then that would hurt my pride even worse than being defeated by a fake wannabe demon. So that's it. We fight, is the sound to charge that spurred Naruto and Sasuke forward. Sasuke starts with volleys of shuriken aimed at multiple lethal hit points on the body, but Zabuza just swings his big sword at all the projectiles and deflected them in one stroke. But the bandaged ninja clone has to dodge his head left when a kunai that was aimed for his eye whizzed by. The blonde one is going to wait for me to move and look for openings then throw his weapons at me. He's smarter at using shuriken than the other one is. Now it's time to teach you pathetic excuses for ninja a lesson. Sasuke had jumped into the air trying to bring a kunai down into Zabuza's skull, so to stop him Zabuza starts to reach up to grab a hold of the raven-haired teen by the throat, but he had to dodge the blonde again when shuriken came flying for his abdomen. All Zabuza has to do to get out of the way is pivot with the ball of his left foot to let the shuriken fly by, and with his already raised hand he reaches up behind the rapidly falling Sasuke's neck and pulls down. Sasuke has a moment to realize that his attack not only failed, but was now being pulled down to the ground faster than before face first. Zabuza finishes his movement by slamming Sasuke's face into the dirt making a few cracks in the ground. The mist nin has enough time to turn and pivot under Naruto's slash with a kunai to his throat, and grabs at his extended wrist to send Naruto twisting in the opposite direction sending pain up the blonde's wrist and arm. Following the motion but still holding onto Naruto's wrist Zabuza lets Naruto fall to the ground, but pulls up on the teen's arm giving him a better shot for the kick to the forehead he gives Naruto. Still holding onto Naruto's wrist the missing nin lifts and spins Naruto on the ground until he is in a sitting position where Zabuza sends another devastating kick to his solar plexus. The kick was so hard that Naruto slid past the slowly recovering Sasuke with the bloody face back to stop in front of Sakura who still kept her position in front of Tazuna. Even Sakura could feel some compassion for Naruto right now, both of her teammates look like they just took two of the hardest hits she has ever seen. As both teens shakily get back to their feet, Zabuza's clone walks to the middle of the clearing while the real Zabuza holds Kakashi prisoner on the water. Kakashi's horror is stretched out across both of his eyes. He was slowly leaking his chakra into the water to break the jutsu, but not fast enough to save his students. Damn you Zabuza, he is going to toy with them until he's had his fun, and then. The clone Zabuza looks down on the shaky-kneed teens. You three have no right to be calling yourself ninja. In my village, ninja are born out of the academy as killers. Just because you got yourself a little headband like this one. The mist nin bends down and picks up Naruto's headband. When I graduated, I needed to kill the other students before they gave me one of these. When Zabuza looks down at the leaf headband in his hand he notices something off about this one. Normally the leaf had dark navy blue headbands, but this one barely had any blue on it, just a few spots and blue at the tips of the cloth. The rest of the fabric was a color and substance Zabuza knew all too well. Naruto had started walking forward and noticed what the mist nin was looking at. Well then, we have something in common. In order for me to graduate the academy I didn't have to do some stupid useless jutsu. In order to graduate I had to kill, but unlike your pansy ass who killed academy students. I killed a CHUNIN. Sprinting forward Naruto starts throwing kunai getting a small laugh from Zabuza. Didn't you learn your lesson about the shuriken last time? Grunting out he waves his massive sword defending himself like last time, and after his swing just like last time Zabuza was ready for the other weapons Naruto would throw at his exposed spots after his swing. And just as he predicted two shuriken were heading right at him, or were they? According to Zabuza's trained eyes the two shuriken would pass right by his head if he stayed still. Ha, I guess your aim is still green from the academy. Naruto's smirk tugging on the left of his face is all the clue Zabuza has that something is up. As the shuriken are about to pass by his head he looks at them. Now that they are closer he can see they are not normal shuriken. Instead of a hole in the middle it looked like a ball bearing, and attached to the middle he could just barely make out the razor wire connecting them like bolus. If Zabuza lets the wire wrap around his neck then the spinning weapons would follow the wires faster and faster until they embed in his head. Quickly dropping the headband Zabuza's incredibly fast hand reaches up grabbing the wire and ducking under the still spinning blades only to run chin first into Naruto's knee. The strike is strong enough to send Zabuza back a few steps and holding his chin he can see Naruto put his trophy back on his forehead. Then crossing his fingers Naruto yells out for all to hear, Shadow Clone Jutsu, bringing forth 20 dirty blondes into the clearing. They all start to surround Zabuza and rush in at the same time. Some jumped forward in like rockets spinning and bringing down 12 axe kicks at Zabuza's head. And the rest lunge forward bringing uppercuts from below. Swinging his massive sword, Zabuza cuts down most of the clones and sends 5 others flying up. The original Naruto rights himself and orders his clones to attack again. All 5 reach into holsters and pull out 4 shuriken for each hand, then send them hurling down at Zabuza. Laughing again to himself at seeing the blonde try the same attack all over again, he prepares his sword to defend. But this time Naruto and his clones aren't done, as they simultaneously go through the hand signs of one of the stolen jutsu he learned from the secret scroll. Calling out as the 40 shuriken they threw come 10 feet away from Zabuza, multi-shadow shuriken jutsu. Zabuza's eye and mouth widen under his bandages at the sight of the shuriken multiply by 10, and the position of his clone attackers in the air have him surrounded by over 400 spinning razors coming for him. Sasuke, Sakura and Tazuna all stare wide-eyed as Zabuza's clone gets hit from all sides by shuriken. Ripping through the chakra holding it together, it falls apart in hundreds of little splashes as the blades rip through. When the onslaught is finished, the clone had dispelled in one final large splash, spreading out and draining into the dirt around the shuriken. Staring wide-eyed at the spot where his clone was destroyed, Zabuza can barely believe what just happened. The kid knew not one but 2 Jonin-level jutsu. The next thought that crosses through his mind is, there is something about this kid. When Zabuza sees Naruto again, he is falling out of the air through the cloud of dispelled clones while reaching in his backpack. When he lands, Naruto pulls out his demon wind shuriken that each of them got from Kakashi. Sasuke, get your shuriken ready. Taking Naruto's lead, Sasuke pulls out his own shuriken and with a flick of his wrist opens the large blades in front of him, mimicking the same pose Naruto was doing. What are you planning, Naruto? Showing the enemy what we're going to throw at him isn't very smart. I wonder if he does even plan that far ahead. Naruto bends his knees slightly, then yells, now, then both boys of Team 7 jump into the air. Sasuke higher than Naruto flips forward and throws his shuriken. Naruto twists into the air and uses the momentum from his turn and the power of his hips to send the shuriken flying right after Sasuke's, which was closing in on Zabuza standing on the water. When both boys land on their feet, they watch the path of their projectiles close in on their target. Sasuke was thinking that if they had done the shadow shuriken jutsu this might have worked, but now Zabuza can see both coming right at him. Maybe he really doesn't think that far ahead. Smirking at the weapons, he looks over them at the teen boys, and catches Sasuke's shuriken with his free hand easily. A tense breath is inhaled by 3 non-blondes back on shore as the second shuriken spins on target. Seeing its trajectory, Zabuza jumps up, but in the last second the shuriken turns vertical and moves up towards Zabuza's arm. Still able to see where the blade was going, Zabuza bends his arm to move it out of the path of the weapon but maintain his hold on Kakashi's prison. Ha! You fools underestimated me. Ha! Right as the spinning blade was going to pass under his arm, Zabuza sees and hears the pop as the shuriken turns back into Naruto. He continues to spin with a kunai in his hand, and reaching out he plunges the weapon to the hilt into Zabuza's bicep. Naruto continues his momentum and falls into the lake, leaving his kunai right where he left it, right in Zabuza's arm, which was still holding the water prison. Dismay spreads through the group back on land as Sakura whispers, "Oh man, I thought that was going to work, now we have lost the best chance we had so far. Naruto, you team, think next time. We might not get another shot like that again." Sasuke yells and starts thinking of more strategies to get out of this bad mess. Zabuza looks past the blood dripping out of his arm and back at Naruto bobbing in the water. "You little brat, you're so fucking dead, so I'm gonna crush your sensei now and stick this kunai in your eye." Naruto smiles back at Zabuza, "Nah, that's okay, you can keep the knife, and as for crushing Kakashi, well, I don't think you can do it." Narrowing his eyes at the kid, Zabuza decides not to gloat any further and just kill Kakashi to rub it in the smug kid's face, but after trying to pulse his chakra into the sphere he found that he couldn't. In fact, he just noticed that his chakra control was feeling shakier by the second. "Do you feel it yet?" Naruto sends his question to Zabuza with as much malice as he could while bobbing in the water. But Zabuza could feel it now. "Pison, that kid must have hit me with a poison kunai, fuck." His arm was starting to hurt now, more than just having a blade stuck in his muscle. Now it felt as if his arm had been dipped in acid. Zabuza had no choice now but to retreat and deal with this poison before it spreads to the rest of his system, and his thoughts on this matter were being echoed by a masked boy hiding in the trees watching from a distance. Pulling his arm out of the sphere, Zabuza jumps away before the water around the sphere explodes outward from Kakashi's pulse of chakra. Panting for a few breaths, Kakashi takes a second to look back at Naruto and say, "That was incredible, Naruto, very nicely done." Naruto's head bobs down in the water for a second, and when he comes back up, "It's like I said, you never know when you wanna poison someone." Smiling at Naruto's joke, Kakashi turns back to look at Zabuza. His arm was twitching, holding onto the hilt of that big sword of his. Looking at the bleeding mist ninja, Kakashi could tell what was going through his mind. He knows he should retreat and take an antidote, but wants to finish his mission too. Zabuza decided on staying to fight and take his chances by rushing Kakashi with his big sword. Kakashi meets the cleaver with his kunai, and the sound of clashing metal rings out through the area for a few bouts. When they separated after the last clash, they held the ground, though Kakashi was steady and focused, but Zabuza was panting and now shaking too badly to hold onto the heavy sword. "This is bad, I can't get a grip on my sword, I need to finish this in one big strike, I'll fish the old man's body out of the water later." Strapping the heavy weapon to his back, Zabuza puts his hands together to form hand signs. Kakashi begins to copy his jutsu but has to stop a couple of times because Zabuza's hand wasn't responding right anymore. Forcing the hand to work, Kakashi gets enough for his Sharingan to copy the jutsu before Zabuza can finish, and to the terror of the missing ninja, he heard Kakashi call out his most powerful jutsu, water-style giant vortex shockwave jutsu. And it was all over for Zabuza now, and he knew it too. Standing on the water as it violently turned into a spinning vortex coming right at him, he thinks to himself as he is being swept away, "How did he know? He did the same jutsu I was going to do." The rest of Team 7 on land now had to hold on to anything they could to keep them from being swept away from the sudden rush of water. It was like having a river thrown at you. Tazuna was holding on to Sakura as hard as he could, and she was holding on to Sasuke as hard as she could, to the annoyance of Sasuke holding onto the tree. Zabuza was feeling powerfully disoriented, with the random water currents sending him this way and that, to his now numb arm which was starting to burn into his chest, and the trees were bruising and cutting him as he was swept away. As the jutsu wears off and the water recedes, Zabuza is pinned against a tree, barely holding himself up, and with Kakashi running up and landing on a branch with his kunai at the ready, he was defenseless. In a twitch, Kakashi sends the blades flying, but the sound of clashing metal echoes through the trees when Senbon needles come out of nowhere and knock him off course. And in the next second, as everyone tries to figure out what just happened and where, two more needles fly out of nowhere and stick into the side of Zabuza's neck. Looking up and to the left where a powerful gust of wind was coming from stood the masked ninja on a high branch. From first glance it was a teenage boy, but on his face was the hunter mask of a mist shinobi. As he stands there with the wind and leaves blowing behind him, he looked mysterious. "Thank you for softening him up for me, I am in your debt." Kakashi narrows his eyes at the newcomer. "Judging by your look, you're from the Mist Anbu Hunter Corps, am I right?" "That's correct, liar," Naruto yells out while walking forward to stand next to Kakashi. "What do you mean, Naruto?" Kakashi keeps his eyes on the strange kid and looks in the corner of his eye at Naruto. Taking in a deep breath through his nose, Naruto's red eyes bore into the dark slits of the white mask. "It's too bad for you that you're standing upwind of us. Here'll prove that he's a liar." Naruto reaches down his right thigh and grabs a kunai and throws it at the limp form of Zabuza, right for the middle of the top of his head. But a Senbon stops it. Kakashi looks back to the kid in the trees. "What was that? Why are you protecting the body?" Kakashi starts walking forward but starting to move in between the kid and Zabuza. "The body is mine alone to deal with, I won't let you touch him." The boy's only movement is putting one hand behind his back. Naruto moves to stand closer to Kakashi, and to Zabuza too. "You lie pretty well, but it's not looking good for you, pal. Kakashi is going to take care of you while I go and take off Zabuza's head." "No, I told you that I won't allow you to touch him." Now the hand in the front suddenly has Senbon between each finger. Kakashi and Naruto now have a kunai each and each stare down the masked stranger. "Naruto." Kakashi calls out but doesn't turn to look at him. "How are you sure that he isn't who he says he is? I need to know why now." Lifting a finger to tap his nose, "Like I said, he is standing upwind and I can smell Zabuza on him, smells like sweat and rabbit." A strange crackling can be heard behind both of their backs, and in another instant, the boy with the mask disappears. Both turn back to see what the sound was, and they turn in time to see a strange thin rectangle made of ice, and the masked boy was pulling Zabuza into it. When both Kakashi and Naruto rush the ice, it starts to crumble in seconds until it disappears. Kakashi jumps up to the branch where the boy in the mask first appeared, and there was crumbled ice against the bark and down at the bottom of the tree. Jumping back down into the middle of the clearing, Kakashi lands in a crouch and then pulls his headband down to cover his Sharingan. It's over, at least for now. Good call, Naruto, and very good job today. The rest of the group joins together in the middle around Kakashi. Tazuna can't help himself from saying, "I can't believe we survived all that, and I can't believe what you people can do." Sakura chimes in looking at Sasuke's turned back, and Sasuke was so cool the way he charged in at Zabuza like that. Naruto frowns at her, wondering what she was watching the whole time. Kakashi walks over to Sakura and take his backpack back from her. "Well, we have survived again, let's get to Tazuna's and take a rest." He made it 3 steps before Kakashi went rigid for a second, then fell face first, passed out. All of them rush the downed Jonin. Sakura checks his pulse. It was fast but not too fast. I think he has chakra exhaustion. Naruto picks his backpack up too. It had snagged on top of a bush when it was swept up by the water. Well, like Kakashi said, let's get to Tazuna's. Stopping to turn and look at Sakura and Sasuke, Naruto frowns and says next, "Why don't you guys be useful for once, pick up and carry Kakashi?" And without a backwards glance, Naruto starts walking away towards Tazuna's. "Come on." With his back to them, Naruto can't see the looks Sasuke and Sakura were giving him, pure murderous anger. Tazuna starts following the blonde and looks over his shoulder too. "You know, technically since I'm a foreman I can say this, he has been working more than you." Looking at each other, they give into reality and pick up the unconscious Kakashi, one under each arm, and start moving to catch up to the others. Hours later, Kakashi slowly wakes up to find he is laying on a futon in a house with the sound of water out of the window. Trying to sit up, he makes enough noise to catch the attention of the woman coming in the room. "Ah, you're awake, now you lay back down and rest." The rest of his team walks in and sits around Kakashi. The older ninja looks at each of them, then says, "Well, I used way more chakra than I should have, so you've had some time to think about this. Tell me what we know about the situation." Tazuna had come upstairs after hearing the sound of people moving and stayed quiet to hear Sasuke speak. "We know that Zabuza works with a partner, and he has a teleportation jutsu." Kakashi uses most of his strength to sit up and prop himself against the wall. Yes, ice has something to do with it, which is also disconcerting since so few ninja use it. A lot of their jutsu is unknown. What else? Sakura almost hops while sitting on her knees to answer. "We know that while they were working together, the masked kid was to get Zabuza out of danger of being killed, but he was injured and poisoned. So wherever they have ran off to heal, it's going to take a long time to recover, or maybe he even died from the poison. Possibly, but I think that kid is a real pro. Hitting him in the neck with Senbon would give the kid in the mask a chance to make it look like he had killed him. He probably hit the right nerve points to slow the heart enough to keep him alive but slow the spread of poison. The chances are good that we are going to see them again. It's like you said, Sakura, Zabuza is going to have to heal longer and the bridge will be finished by next week, so we have a chance that Zabuza will attack before he is 100%. If that happens, we have a good chance of winning the fight, but I don't hope for the best." Each team frowns at these words and wait for Kakashi to explain. Looking at each of them, Kakashi continues, "We will take advantage of this free time to train to become even stronger. After all, if a ninja fight a battle then survives and expects to fight the same foe again, they must come up with new tricks but become stronger too. Never use the same attacks and expect to get the same results. And now we are going to start a training regimen that is going to be the hardest you have ever faced." Pausing to enjoy the undivided attention the silver-haired Jonin was getting as each team leaned in to find out what they were going to be doing. "You're going to be climbing trees." The pause doesn't last long as each of them chew over what the Jonin just said, but like almost always, Naruto ends the silence first. "What the fuck? CCCCKKKKKK, huh?" Goto had heard that Zabuza had returned. And without Tazuna's head, and like anyone he has ever employed that has disappointed him, he wanted to yell at him. Walking up to the bed, he noticed that the boy with the mask was working away at Zabuza's arm. Using some glass cups and fire, he was lighting something flammable on the wound and putting the cup over the flame. The fire extinguished after eating up the oxygen in the glass, creating a suction, and as soon as Haku pumps chakra into the wound, a bloody green ooze comes leaking out. Goto stops and puts his hand over his nose. Let me repeat myself, what the fuck? Haku continues to work on Zabuza's arm like he didn't hear the small man. And Zabuza's eyes are staring out to the wall where the two samurai were standing, just looking angry. Goto gets his courage and walks up to grab a hold of Zabuza's neck, and finds that his hand is now feeling very strange, a sharp thousands of pin pricks feeling in his hand. Looking down at his hand, he notices that it is grey and bluish looking, it was almost frozen stiff. Screaming and grabbing his hand while walking backwards prompted the samurai to run forward and drawing their swords. But one of them never had a chance when Haku suddenly appears in between the samurai and has their swords in his hands. Twisting in a flash, Haku took both blades and impaled the one with the goatee in the stomach, pinning him to the floor. Goto and the samurai with the beanie shake in fear as Haku walks between them, saying, "You have tried my patience, I am beyond any kind of bad mood, Master Zabuza will complete his mission no matter what, now get out both of you." Walking fast to his bodyguard as he was pulling his sword out of the corpse, then turns, "One chance, that's all you have left." The quickly moves for the door. Gauto. Haku yells but still doesn't look at him as Goto stops but stands with shaking knees to turn and listen again. "Have your man take that trash out with him." Blinking and looking at the former second half of his personal guard, he jerks his head at the beanie-wearing samurai to do it. After they had both left, Haku apologizes to his master for the noise and continues to heal him. Zabuza can't help but get angrier at how useless he was right now. He was going to have to completely rely on Haku until the nerve pain-inducing and chakra-numbing poison the demon brothers used. He is going to die for this. That kid is getting a slow kunai to the eye. He fought you fiercely, he never once showed fear, just more determination and focus. Just like how you fight. A demon of the leaf. Zabuza laughs, but that kind of sounded right. He had faced down many ninja on battlefields across the ninja world, many hard ninja but few that had the intensity and murderous intent in them like that kid had. And even more disturbing to Zabuza as another wave of hot needles and nausea hits him, is the realization that those eyes he saw today reminded him of the eyes he saw every time in the mirror. Dark and evil, with the crimson color and narrow slits, the kid looked even more demonic than him. The anger at these thoughts is what helps Zabuza work through the pain. That kid may be what you say, but the demon of the mist will keep that title when I put him down. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.